Tuesday, we're going to do Ois Hai in the Zera Shimshon Parshat Pekudei. Zera Shimshon brings down the Medrash on the Pusik of Revi'i, the Parak Lamed Tes, Pusik Lamed Gimel, and it says, V'yavi'i es ha-Mishkan al Moshe, and they brought the Mishkan to Moshe. And all of it, all the parts it says continues what was part of the Mishkan that they brought. And on this says the Medrash of Rabbi Yochanan that Shisha Chodoshim haya oiskim b'Mishkan. 6 months they were toiling and working on the Mishkan. 3 months they did it. 3 months they took it apart. And the reason is, Fiyazos the Medrash ends off that the Eibishter wanted, his kavanah was to shtel off the Mishkan in the Chodesh that Yitzchak was born, which is Nisan. That's the end of the Medrash. Es Zeh Shimshon, the one. Why did the Eibishter want to wait Dafka to Yitzchak was born? What does Yitzchak have to do with the Mishkan? And two, he brings in the Gemara from Shabbos that says, L'usad Luvay, the Eibishter is going to tell Avram, Vini Banecha Choti, your children sinned. And Avram Avinu is going to say, okay, Yimochi al Kedisha Shemcha, wipe them out. And he goes to Yaakov Avinu, and Yaakov Avinu says the same thing. When he went to Yitzchak Avinu, so Yitzchak Avinu says, B'necha bonai v'loi b'necha, and he says, Kamash Yimai Shnai Chaye Odom, how long does a person live for? It says 70 years. So he says so Yitzchak says the first 20 is he's not accountable for. So there's only 50. And 20 out of that 50, 25 years is nice. Take that off. He only left to 25. Out of 25, he eats and drinks and does all the other things that he has to do. So you're talking about 12 and a half years. So 12 and a half years, pal gelech, half on me, half on you, and let them go. So he says that Shimshon is very interesting, very, very strange what's happening over here. Yitzchak Avinu is the one that's din. He's the one that's connected din, strength, and Avram Avinu is chesed, and Yaakov is rachamim. So they were the ones that said, go ahead and Yimochi al Kiddush Shemecha, and Yitzchak was the one that stuck up for the Yidden and made a whole cheshbon over there. What's going on? Why didn't the others, Avram and Yaakov, do it if they were rachamim and chesed? Says the Zera Shimshon that there's another Gemara in Bruchos that says that Shulash Matonos Toivos Nosan HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael. The Eibishter gave 3 beautiful matonos to Klal Yisrael, and they only kill on Nosan Elai Yisian. He gave them all only through Yisian. You have hardships through it, and what are they? Torah, Eretz Yisrael, and Olam Haba. And these 3 things. Torah, Eretz Yisrael, and Olam Haba, says the Zera Shimshon is connected to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Why is that? Avram Avinu had the Eser Nisyonis, and because of the Eser Nisyonis, the Eibishter gave him the Haftucha that he's going to go. His children are going to have Eretz Yisrael, right? So we see from there they have Yisir from Eretz Yisrael, from Yishas Haaretz, because he had the Eser Nisyonis. Golus Mitzrayim was why that in order to cleanse the Klal Yisrael out and that they should be really lekabel Torah. Who was the one that went down Mitzrayim? Is Yaakov Avinu. And Yaakov Avinu had all the tzuras before. He had the Yisirim Shel Yosef and so on and so forth. Right? And that's why he had to go down to Mitzrayim, because of Yosef, and that was the beginning of the Gulas. So we see that there is Yisirim in Torah. And now the last thing that's Avram and Yaakov. And now what's the last Yiddisha, that Matuna, is Olam Haba. And that's totally in Yitzchak. And what was Yitzchak's Yisirim? That he was nekad, he was brought as a korban oila tmima. So that's why he was zoicha to have the yichud of the Eibishter on him, because he was a korban oila mamish. He was brought as a korban oila, and not like the other tzaddikim. But here, on Yitzchak itself, on his bodily, and on his gift, he was zoicha to have the Eibishter be on him because he was called an oila, and that was the Yerusha for Olam Haba, and that was the Isirim, that was the pain that they had for these 3 things. Now we see that Yitzchak Avinu had Olam Haba. So Dafka Yitzchak is the one that could talk good. He could be the advocate for Klal Yisrael, in order to that they should be Zoicha for Olam Haba, because it's Nogaya to him, because he's the one that went through the Yisirim in order for this Matuna Toiva of Olam Haba to be given over to Klal Yisrael. Even though Avram Avinu is Ches and Yaakov is Rachmim, still They stayed away. It's not their territory. Whose territory is it? Oh, it's only the guy to Yitzchak Avini. And therefore, they said to Yitzchak also, we say Yitzchak Avini ki ato Avini. You're our father. Why are you father? Because Olam Haba is the schis of Yitzchak, and that's why he was able to give also over the bruchas to Yaakov Avini.